Welcome to Food and Loathing. If you are hungry, we've got some great places you might want to eat, and if you aren't hungry, we're going to do our best to make you hungry. That we is myself, Al Mancini, my co-host Gemini Stevens, as well as our producer Rich Johnson, who is joining us via Zoom this week. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Hello.
We're all like together in spirit via the interweb. Where are we all? I'm in Las Vegas. Gemini, you're here in Las Vegas. Rich, you're in Seattle. Andrew Morgan's off in the ether somewhere. He's going to be joining us later in the show. I don't know where the hell he is either. But that's okay.
Look like a men's room lounge or something like that, or a back corner of some lobby.
A men's
Have
room lounge.
laptop will turn anywhere into a work from restroom situation.
I mean, I don't know, man. You guys are getting me with his work from restroom. I don't know what jobs you've held in your past. But,
well, the echo is what got me.
Like, I don't know where you were working, what restrooms, or what you were doing in them, but okay. We have a great show for you this week. Interview-wise, two long-form interviews that we previewed last week, which you're going to hear in their entirety today. First is with Paymon Raouf, who just celebrated 38 years of Paymons in Las Vegas. And I had a nice long talk with him about how that happened, going all the way back to how he got his first recipes and how he would ask Middle Eastern women to share their recipes with him so that he could serve food. So I really enjoyed that. I like Paymon. It's been a year or two since we've had him on. He really is the history of Las Vegas. So I wanted to throw that out in its entirety today. I also have an interview with cocktail historian David Wondrich. And this is one of those total nerd interviews that I love with the man who has just documented the cocktail culture for decades, the culture of decades. He's done it for decades, but it's really been the cocktail culture of centuries, right, and of drinkers. So we spoke for about 15 minutes at the Vault in Bellagio. He's such an interesting guy that I want to play the whole thing for you. If you're a serious mixologist or a serious drunk, or you want to be serious at either of those things, you're going to want to hear this. So if not, hey, man, you know where the fast forward button is, and then come back, and then we'll have other good stuff, and you'll like that. But honestly, I love the David interview, so I wouldn't fast forward past that. And because we have those, plus a big week ahead of us with the Michelin Guide, I laid off other interviews this week. Have no fear. Lots of other stuff in here, including news, a happy hour report, apparently from a restroom. I don't know what that's all about. Our own restaurant reports where I don't talk about anybody's restrooms. And before we get to any of that, I'm going to tell you about a few of the special events posted on the foodandloathing.vegas event calendar. Jem, I'm going to do this week, okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. We have a G4 tequila dinner at Al Solito Posto on Tuesday, August 25th. I have to tell you, G4, I think it was Anthony Jameson, who, while we were interviewing him on this podcast, we were talking about good buys, good tequilas that are out there, things that may be off people's radar. That was like a good year and a half ago, I think. And I have really discovered G4 since those days, and it's a fantastic tequila. And the fact that you are going to do 4 courses at Al Solito Posto, which is an unbelievable restaurant where I ate this week, James Tree's Italian restaurant, in Tivoli Village. And each course paired with a tequila. You're going to have their Blanco di Madeira, their Reposado, and their Añejo. Price for all of that, just $75. And, I know prices is a tough thing to say what's a bargain these days because everything's expensive. But to me, 4 courses of Al Solito Posto and a quality tequila brand with it, $75. That sounds great to me. And honestly, I think you want to discover G4, right? Oh, I don't get paid by these guys, by the way, just so you know. Do not get paid by these motherfuckers. But I think you want to discover this one, maybe stock up on some of their stuff, because I feel like this is one of those spirits that is going to like double in price over the next year as people really catch on to how fucking good it is. And then they'll probably start advertising and, blah, blah, blah. We also have 2 events on Thursday, the 27th. These, again, from the Food and Loathing event calendar. Wines Blinded with Masters Sommelier Steve and Lindsay Geddes at 5 p.m. Carver Steak on the 27th. Again, man, this is one of those bargain deals. You taste your way through 12 mystery wines. See how good your palate is. We have Steve Geddes, Lindsay Geddes. They both work at Carver Steak. They were the very first husband-wife Quarter of Master Sommeliers to be both of them certified as master sommeliers. They know their wine. You're going to go through these wines. You can taste them. You can talk about what you liked. And snacks. And 12 wines, $35. and locals park for free at Resorts World. So that's the 27th at 5 o'clock. Nobody's getting excited. Gemini, doesn't that sound good to you, or are you just ignoring me over there?
No, it sounds really good. I'm sad. I'm sad. I actually have plans that night.
I feel like I'm on my own here. You guys all look like I'm seeing you on your screen. You're all
We're
kind
giving
of
you
dozed
your
out.
space.
Gemini was just taking pictures of her keyboard a little while ago. I don't know what
I
the
was
fuck-
depositing a check.
Oh, okay. Send it my way. One more event on Thursday, the 27th, a wine pairing dinner at Bistecca Italian Steakhouse in the Tuscany Suites. That's another one, 4 courses, $75. So there we go, man. That's $75, $35, and $75. 4 things that you can do. Don't tell me there aren't any bargains in this fucking town. Those are all fantastic. And with that, let's talk about where we've been eating. Rich, you're in Seattle, so we don't need the directions to every spot. But have you had anything good?
Most of the good stuff has come at home. I'm doing a lot of eating cheap and at home. As we record, I'm in the middle of a big batch of beef stew. I just did all the prep, chopped up the chuck roast, got some cab, some beef stock, salt and pepper, mushrooms, onions, carrots, celery, garlic, tomato paste. I've had really good luck with my Instant Pot, but I think I'm going to go low and slow this time and put it in the oven for like 3-4 hours. See if that's a big difference. I'm sure it is. My other big experiment, since I go to work at 2 a.m., and there's not a lot open at 2 a.m. on Lower Queen Anne Hill in Seattle, as in zero. And even the kitchen, I suppose I could get up a little early and I go to this place called Ozzy's where they're still doing karaoke as I'm walking to work. Because closing time in Washington is 2 a.m. And I suppose I could get a sandwich on the way. But no, I make my own little thing, scrambled eggs with meat, veg, cheese, and little ramekins baked in a water bath. Refrigerate them, take them to work, microwave them for a minute. And the big thing there is if you just put eggs, scrambled eggs like omelet in there, they're a little rough. The texture is weird. So the clue that I found in all these things on the internet is full fat cottage cheese, like about a 1-to-10 or 1-to-5 ratio. My first batch was sausage, scallions, not quite enough cottage cheese. I put the cheese, the cottage cheese, the eggs in a blender. I got my old classic Waring blender, about 20 seconds, then throw it in. Second batch, I doubled the cottage cheese, add sauteed onions, bacon bits, and spinach. Much, much better and smooth. I have other ingredients for future attempts, including that great mid-Atlantic breakfast meat I've beat you over the head with way too much. I'm going to have some scrapple egg whites eventually, so stay tuned on that.
Are you telling me you beat me with your meat over the head? What?
Oh, no. Beat you with my blender.
Yes,
my
scrapple.
immersion blender, if you want to keep it sexually weird.
And don't even say Mid-Atlantic. Scrapple is Pennsylvania, man.
Well, that's the
Pennsylvania's
Mid-Atlantic
Scrapple
somewhere.
country, man.
Yeah. From Virginia, well, most of the South, because it was kind of slave food originally. Whatever was left of the pig, throw it in with stuff and spices, and it's really good. I did
it's
something
kind of like
unique.
whatever's on the floor of the slaughterhouse. Throw down a bunch of cornmeal and push it all together with a broom, I think is how they make scrapple.
Yeah, that's it, man. Waste nothing. I did something uniquely Seattle last weekend. My niece, who just moved up here from Portland after getting a big promotion at Boeing, took me and her mother and her boyfriend on a 5-mile hike inside the Everett plant for the annual Boeing Family Day. We saw 777s and 737s in various stages of assembly inside the largest building in the world in terms of cubic feet. 472 million of them.
Wow.
And those 737s are safe if they're on the ground, right?
Yes, they are. No, they're better now. Even cooler, my niece's boyfriend is an Air Force pilot. He saw a plane under construction that he may very well be flying one of these days. That's a KC-46 Pegasus airborne tanker. And it's about time. This kid who's 28 is flying 70-year-old KC-135 tankers. If you remember remember the opening credits of Dr. Strangelove? Try a little tenderness, a big orchestral version over the shot of the
I don't even know
plane
where
getting
we've
refueled.
gone with this conversation. Sometimes it went off in alphabets like you're looking in your cereal naming letters.
You should have stacked me lower in
numbers.
the show. I know. Okay, I'm almost done with that part. Anyway, he's going to get one of those new ones because the KC-135s are 60-plus years old. And anyway,
one other numbers and letters in this speech.
All right, here's the food part of this whole thing.
What were they serving at Boeing? Anything good?
Oh, just a little box lunch. We didn't even have that. We went to a nice little Mexican-American place nearby, and it was a really nice lunch.
Okay.
All due respect to the Fairfax and the Grand Central markets in Los Angeles, what's left of the Haymarket in Boston, the Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia. The greatest one in North America is right here, the Pike Place Market in Seattle. All of them, many others around the country, they continue this tradition that 2 centuries these markets have been around, and recreating that feel. People have tried that many times, and mostly to the case of financial ruin. Food halls that masquerade as markets where you can buy stuff for about 4 times the price of
Right.
what it would be in the supermarket. I think of that cute little one near in the same building as Grand Central Terminal in New York. Yeah, you can get some seafood and some vegetables for $10 an orange or something like that in there. There's a new one coming this year to my hometown, Portland, Oregon, and this one has secured the name you might recognize. This is going to be called the James Beard Public Market, after Portland's most famous food personality.
Yeah.
It's been on the drawing board for a couple of years. They just got their construction permit. It'll be located right in a converted office building in downtown Portland.
That's
About
cool.
40 small businesses, teaching event space, restaurant, bakery, fish market, butcher, cheese shop, wine, stalls, prepared foods, cookbook store, fast casual dining. I love the idea. I'll be there as fast as I can. I fear for its location because it is close, but not conveniently close to all the apartment buildings and condos that have come up right around the periphery of the downtown core in Portland. It'll be a big draw for office workers or what's left of them,
Right.
But I wonder if it will work as an everyday go-to food source for the downtown residents. We'll see in about a year. So, I don't have any restaurants to go to because you don't want to hear about the shitty hot dog I had at the Seahawks game.
No, I don't. But I did see that you saw a guy with the mohawk at the Seahawks game.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of a guy with a Seahawk green and yellow, blue mohawk, and that was the highlight of the game because it was a big loss. But it's preseason. Who cares?
Right.
All right. Thank you for letting me on. I know you'll never have me on again after talking about all that tangential shit.
Not true. I miss
I just
you.
realized how dumb I was. I'm like, I don't know, the C-85 XX triple Z airplane.
Well, go watch Dr. Strangelove again. You see that, and then you see the inside of a B-52 nuke bomber for the next 2 hours.
I just bought Failsafe because I wanted to have collection.
That's
okay.
Dr. Strangelove without the humor.
Yeah. So other things, you talk about that Pike's Peak Market in Seattle.
Pike Place Market.
Place.
Say it with everybody fucks that up, even you who should know better.
Yeah, that's because this is an aside and you got me all confused and I'm trying to pull something out of my ass here.
Pike Place Market.
Somewhere in my friend Sean O'Malley's archives, we should have video of both myself and of John Curtis catching and throwing fish at that market. So,
oh my God.
I don't know where I could get my hands on that. But okay, so that was Rich. Now it's Gemini's turn. Gemini,
yeah.
you've been eating any place good?
I've been eating all the places good.
I know. Every time I turn around, man, there's like more food photos from you up there.
Absolutely. I'm back in Vegas, man. I got to make it all worth it. So last Friday, we recorded last week. I went to the Raider game on Thursday night. We didn't eat, but it's fun. It was preseason, so some stuff wasn't fully open. But it's really kind of cool to see what's coming in there. So I'm going again next Thursday. So hopefully I'll be able to see more and get some photos and stuff. But last Friday, I went to a cocktail class at Esther's. Dominic put it out there on Facebook that he was going to be having a class. They're going to be doing something like this every month. I think it's the second Friday of every month. Currently, there's 2 offerings, 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. No cost. Just got to let them know you're coming.
I love somebody who's going to a 9:30 a.m. cocktail
Yeah.
class. That is
my God, yeah.
That's how you start your motherfucking day in the
Absolutely.
Arts
So
District,
this one was on whiskey. So we talked about whiskeys, where they come from, who makes them, what the differences are, and that includes bourbon and Scotch and Tennessee whiskey and all of these, just Irish whiskey, all of these really cool things. And so then we had some classic cocktails made from whiskey. And then from there, I rolled into lunch with one of the other people that were in the class, made a new friend, and tried a brand new pizza from Dylan Jobs and James Trees over at Esther's Kitchen. It's a carbonara pizza. They have taken
I saw pictures of that. Yeah.
Yes. They took their carbonara pasta off the menu because everybody has an opinion on carbonara, and it just wasn't hitting the mark, I guess. So they decided.
I told you James Tree's first conversation with me, I think we argued about carbonara.
Yes. And so now they have this pizza and it is beautiful. It's their pizza dough that they do on all their pizzas. And then it has a black pepper bechamel. It's got this egg yolk gel, they're calling it, that just tastes like beautiful egg yolk. But it keeps it from like getting weird and hard and scrambly in the oven. It's got cheese. It's got more black pepper. It's got some guanciale. So if you go to my social media, that's Wishbone and Vine, you can see James taking the first bite, and then I don't have video of myself taking the second bite, but oh my God. And then of course, we had to have other things like I love their cauliflower dish. I get anchovy butter on the side for that one. We had a couple of desserts. So yeah, I hadn't been into Esther's in a minute, so it was really good to go and have lunch there after that cocktail class. I've also been really lucky to go to Casa Playa this past weekend. Some friends were up from Tucson. These are people I met in Chicago when I was there for the James Beard Awards. And Sarah Thompson happened to be in town, so she let me know she was just going to send us out food. So she made a menu. I don't know what it cost because my friends took care of the bill, but we had a scallop crudo, we had oysters, we had a squash tamal that's absolutely beautiful, maitake mushrooms with a mole blanco that is apparently also vegan. And they're house-made corn tortillas. Their blue corn are brilliant bite. Hamachi crudo, scallops with carrot pipián, and huitlacoche esquites. And huitlacoche, for some people who don't know, is that corn fungus that grows on the corn. It's super delicious, really earthy taste. We had prawns, we had American Wagyu short rib, we had tilefish, and we got to taste this really cool mezcal called Real Minero. That's the brand, and it's pechuga, and that means breast. And what they do when they're distilling it is they hang raw chicken breast in while they're making it. And somehow it gives it this sort of sweet, earthy, savory flavor, and I really liked it.
Interesting.
Without the salmonella back?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what alcohol content would kill salmonella, but I'm sure it's whatever the tequila is or the mezcal is would by any stretch of the imagination, man. So I'm sure
my
we're
gosh.
cool on that.
Yeah.
Can
and
we
then
talk
had
a bit about
please.
Casa Playa?
Oh,
because
yes.
I think Casa Playa is a sort of misunderstood restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's in Wynn, Las Vegas. Of course, a James Beard Award-winning chef in Sarah Thompson, but
Yep.
this is a level of Mexican that very few Americans know what to make of because it's such
Right.
an elevated type of Mexican. Can you
Yeah.
speak to that for a sec?
Absolutely. I mean, you walk in there and, I had been there a few times before, so I knew what to expect. But my friends had not been there. Even my husband hadn't been there yet. And so when you're looking around and you're looking at the menus, there's a sense that it is it's both coastal and also inland village, but it is not what you would think of as what most Americans have been introduced to as Mexican food. And I include people who have grown up in very largely Mexican communities. They know the difference between various tacos or tamal and things like that. It is elevated. It's light. It's, there's not a lot of creams and cheeses and things. It's all about the produce. It's all about the protein and how those things.
Well, it's clear that she understands Mexican. She understands Mexican produce. She understands all of that. But they also don't mind throwing in things like maitake mushrooms, as you mentioned
Absolutely.
in one of your dishes, or French truffles. Like
Absolutely.
they will take gourmet touches from all around the globe to spruce that up over there, right?
Yeah. And I really like that there is a huge focus there on flavor. And I feel like that sounds like a duh statement to make, but when you're going through the menu and you realize all the nuances of just this sort of pepper with this particular dish or this sort of broth versus, a heavier sauce, there's so much thought put into how you're going to eat it, what it looks like when you put it on your fork. They layer it together for you. So what you're doing when you're eating it. And the reason I'm saying that is I've had other dishes at other restaurants where I kind of have to wonder, how am I supposed to eat it? If you have to give directions to the diner on how to dig into a dish, I'm lost,
Right.
because that tells me that it's not really a fully composed thing for me. So it's just really thoughtful in that way. And yeah, and it's seasonal. It's really thoughtful, and it comes from all over Mexico. It's not one particular type of Mexican food, which is another thing I appreciate. She brings in those sort of luxury touches, like you said, and but also makes it really homey and delicious and something that you might not put together on your own, but she has studied it, she has learned it, and can bring things in from kind of all over the place. It's really, really great menu.
Thank you. So where else you been, Gemini?
I also went to Amador Cucina Fina this week.
Oh, love that place, and everybody's
Yes.
going there suddenly. Everybody's
Yes.
posting from that place this week.
Oh, so I didn't know this. They have a $45 happy hour. And it is in hours from 4 to 5 p.m., which is 4 courses plus a dessert. And I think they mix it up a little bit. So they point out on the regular menu what you're going to get when you do that. We opted not to do that because there was only 3 of us. And we thought if we're all getting the same 5 dishes, we wanted to switch things up a bit. So we did go a la carte, but we still only spent $70-ish per person. And that included the wine we were drinking. So I want to make that clear up front because we had a lot of things. We had a dry aged fish ceviche with this beautiful crispy puff tostada. We had a steak gilda and fritz. And it's really this beautiful layered crispy potato with the gilda, which is olive and anchovy and onion and pepper. And you'll find them on martinis a lot. Beautiful. Scallop ceviche with aesop, which is, it tastes a little bit like tarragon. Beautiful vegetal leaf. Dried shrimp cracker with saffron oil. That was actually a gift from the chef. And it's made to look like bones of a tiny fish, but it's a cracker, and it's absolutely just a wonderful taste in between all the things. We had what they called a chile relleno, and it was almost like a lasagna layering effect, and that was beautiful. We all decided we could probably eat 4 or 5 of those, and it had queso fresco and Parmesan foam. There was a snow crab dish with soy cured egg yolk and more maitake mushroom. Gotta love those. And then at the end, we were given a charred marshmallow like you would do for s'mores. And it was amazing. There was a ton of food. And these were just right off the regular menu, a la carte, 3 people, all of this food, $70 a pop, or give or take. And we each had like 2 glasses of wine. So really affordable, amazing food. I think some people I've talked to think it's like so expensive or something. I think you need to go back and look at the menus because it was really quite delicious.
And we just did a podcast from there, so you can go back and you can listen to what we said over there.
Well, that
right?
was Aroma.
Oh, that was Aroma. Wait,
Yeah.
didn't we do one at Amador Cucina?
I think you guys did. I think I had to miss it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't.
So-
Maybe I didn't do one from there. I did interview Oscar. I mean, yeah.
Yes, of
we had a
course.
nice long interview with him, but I don't think we did. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we didn't do anything in there.
Well, if we did, even if we did or didn't, let's go back.
Okay, cool. Also, I love the fact these mushrooms with the soy cured egg yolk. I mean, I had that dish at Donbori this week, by the way. So when
yes.
we're on my turn, I'll tell you about that. But anyway,
I can't wait.
Is that where you've been, or you got?
I'm going to throw one more out there. I went to Caillou Ramen last night with our friend Justin Randall. I was craving omurice. I had put it out on social media.
I saw your video.
This place just opened up the past week and a half. It is a chain. We have 2 of them now in the Valley, I believe, one in Henderson and now one on Spring Mountain. And it delivered everything. The textures were amazing.
Could you
The
explain
flavors
to
were
people
fantastic.
what that dish is if they haven't had it?
Yes, omurice is a fried rice dish with a very soft scramble-like Japanese omelet on top of it. And then you have your choice of 2 different gravies. One is a curry gravy and the other one is more of a demi-glace. We opted for the demi, and it is rich. The rice was perfectly done. The egg was, slightly runny, but cooked all the way through for those who get a little squeamish. The gravy was full of flavor, so much depth. It was just beautifully done. And we had a lot of other things as well, but like that was the one thing I was craving. I hadn't had it in forever, and I was really, really glad to be able to go and do that. Again, it's a chain, but it was completely worth it. 3 of us went.
Where are they located?
They're on Spring Mountain, across basically from Sparrow and Wolf, so near Decatur, near Valley View.
Okay.
And we had yakitori, we had dumplings, we had crudos, we had the chawanmushi, another one. If you're talking about egg custard dishes, perfectly steamed. They steam them to order. The texture was phenomenal. It's something I strive for when I make my own chawanmushi. You've got to go in. It was probably one of our favorite dishes of the night. It's got a little scallop in the bottom. It's got some crab stick on the bottom, and it has some salmon eggs on top, and just beautifully done. And again, their flavors are on point. We showed up just at 6 o'clock and were able to get a table pretty quickly. By the time we left, people were waiting by the front door, like 3, 4 rows deep. So get in there,
Get
enjoy
early.
it. Yeah, and the decor is really cool. So when you go in, they have like pods sort of set up. Like there's a wall of pods that there's stairs to get up to these different things, and it looks like almost like beehive, like that kind of shape and texture. It's really fun. Just
Cool.
so get in there, check it out. I've got other things, but I'm going to save some stuff for next week because I just keep adding them to my list.
Yeah, and
But yeah,
I think we're done with today's episode at this point.
But no,
But no,
wait,
there's
there's
more.
I
more.
know there's more.
And there's a center section and there's a back section. So
That's right.
I'm going to run you people through this really quickly, tell you the important things to me. Final meal at Le Cirque. I will miss the place. I have eaten some of the most important meals of my life, anniversaries, job contract signings, the book release parties, the Cirque and Circo and all of their locations. You guys have all done so much for me over 30 years since the first time I ate at a Le Cirque. So thank you for the great farewell meal. Thank you, Ashley Farkas. That was great. They did a caviar amuse, some lobster salad, black Thai dish, which was a scallop dish, a truffle risotto, some lutein mare, some grilled wagyu filet, and that chocolate ball that melts around the ice cream when you pour the chocolate sauce on it.
Yes.
Classic, 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 classic. And Le Cirque, you will be missed. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see where those team members end up. And I'm sure Bellagio will do something else cool, but I do miss the Cirque. This was the final one. We dined at Al Solito Posto at the bar, Sue and I. I had their salmon belly crudo, and I actually like this a lot. I haven't been saying this much, and I'm just going to drop it here. I want to do a grievances episode coming up
Let's do
sometime of
it.
things that piss me off. And one thing that bothers me is a lot of people are really selling things as crudo these days that are probably closer to a tiradito. They have a lot more sauce on them. I think crudo should almost be sashimi, like very simple. So this one it was very good. It was citrus. They used salmon roe on top, very lightly dressed, salmon belly, salmon roe on top to give you that salt, some chili peppers up there. Fantastic dish. I would have liked a tiny bit of like rock salt on it to open it up more than the roe did. I thought it was clever of them to try to use the roe for that salt component, but I would have
Yeah.
liked just a touch of kosher salt, but really, really good dish. Um, yeah, so great time at the bar at Al Solito Posto. Donbori with Rob and Mary and Sue, and we went over there. And man, the wagyu goes are great. The mushroom medley that I told you about with that the soy cured egg, just fantastic. We did their sashimi jewel box, but normally there's 3 pieces of each. There were 4 of us, so they upgraded it, made it 4 pieces of each. So we had like 1 1/3 of those. We did a golden dragon roll with cucumber, eel, avocado, shrimp, tempura. A double order of their uni toast, house made brioche, creme fraiche, and chives. Did a fantastic ice cream, which were 2 kinds of ice cream, I believe, underneath a little sheet of mochi that kind of made them look like Pac-Man ghosts, right? Like the way that they were there. But what was really wild was that inside, you couldn't really see it, but you're tasting it, is a soy sauce caramel. So a
Ooh.
savory and
Ooh.
sweet kind of caramel. That's like the kind of shit that they do at Donbori. They're amazing. We didn't even go totally into their crazy dishes. We stayed on the mid level of experimental in there.
Yeah.
I love that fucking restaurant. All the chefs I know love this restaurant. It's on the west side of town. I just got to tell you, it is an expensive restaurant. I mean, what we
Yeah.
ordered, we did not walk out stuffed. We were all happy, but we didn't walk out stuffed. And maybe the other 3 people maybe had 2 cocktails each, and I had soda. And they gave us a friends and family discount, to be honest, and it
Yeah.
was still over $400 when the check came.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, dude, that's fine. Is it
Yeah.
worth it? Is the question. And I have to tell you things like, if you're intrigued by the idea of soy sauce caramel, it's fucking worth it.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person who, like me, if you're going to eat sea urchin in the summer, you want it to come from Japan, not from Santa Barbara, and you know the
Yes.
difference, it's worth it to go to Donbori. That's the kind of touches they do. Half of the people listening to this podcast don't give a fuck about those things that I said, and you are better off at your local sushi place. I would not waste my money to bring Rich to this restaurant.
Hey,
I'm
I
kidding.
resemble
Rich.
that remark.
I'm kidding, Rich. You can come with me anytime. But I love Donbori, so check that out. Had a meeting at Taco Escobar, but to be honest, I ordered something that was too spicy for me. And that was my fault because I was corny. So I do like Taco Escobar downtown, right across from People Pie, and it was a good business. Anyway, coming up, happy hour report in the news, but first a couple of in-depth interviews with Paymon Raouf and David Wondrich. This is Food and Loathing. Paymon celebrated 38 years of feeding Las Vegas last week, so we sat down to speak with owner Paymon Raouf about that landmark. So, Paymon, I'm flipping through social media yesterday, and I come across you spewing some numbers that are absolutely incredible because you're celebrating something. I'm not going to try to repeat them. Tell me what you're celebrating and what kind of numbers you're talking about.
So, since 1988, Paymon has been in business. And there were times that we did have 3 locations at one time. So when I sat down and just calculated how many covers do we do right now in this restaurant, and I calculated how many covers the other restaurants they did for the time that they were in a business, the actual number, believe it or not, it was 18.2 million.
Well, you got to get one of those McDonald's signs that just changes with millions sold.
Well, those guys, they're on a billion. Those guys are on a billion. Sure. We are not even get close to that. But for an independent restaurant, that number is impressive. And the reason is impressive, that shows that how people support a small business and support Paymons of the world. It could be any other restaurants, but I am so thankful, I am so grateful for our customer base that they come every day, and also I am extra thankful and grateful to my staff and my team that every single day they come in, they give me their best, and day in, day out, these guys, they are just incredible. I just feel lucky that I am in presence of one of the best team in Las Vegas.
So and they are fantastic. I always love coming in here. But the reason you did the math was because you hit a milestone. You crossed another anniversary, right?
That was because we passed 38 years being in business, and we are officially one of the top maybe 15 oldest restaurant in Las Vegas. There are a lot of old restaurants in Las Vegas. Some of them, they are my good friends like Ferraro's and Metro Pizza and a lot of other people that I've been in contact with. But now Paymon's is one of the top 15 oldest restaurant in Las Vegas, and I just don't know how to thank my customer base that they come in and they support us.
That's an amazing amount of time. Obviously, I discovered you shortly after I moved here in 2001, but the fact that you were already, in business 15 years by that point or whatever is totally nuts to me. Can you talk a bit about the evolution? Because even by the time I got here, it was kind of viewed as a UNLV hangout, one of the few places that vegans can go, kind of a little hippie-ish, right? And now your crowd has grown up over the years. So could you just talk about how the restaurant, the audience, and everything else have evolved over those years?
Oh my God, there is a song called Where Do I Begin, which is, it has changed a lot, and we have evolved with it. So I started with a small grocery store called Middle Eastern Bazaar, which it was on in the corner of Maryland Parkway and Flamingo. And then little by little, we added more tables, and I originally add 3 plastic tables and chairs to serve Turkish coffee and baklava, till one day a gentleman walked in. He said, "What do you have to eat?" And I looked at him, but I needed to pay the rent. So I looked at him and I said, "What would you like?" He said, "What do you have?" I said, "I can make you some mortadella sandwich," because I had pita bread, I had mayo, I had all that stuff. So I made him a mortadella sandwich, and because I didn't have any prices, so he asked me how much was that, and looked at him and just throw a price. Told him $1.99. And that's how I started. And next day, he showed up with 2 other friends, and they said, hey, give us the same thing you gave us. So that's how I started being introduced to this business. And because I was not coming from a chef background and a culinary background, I didn't have a lot of recipes that a Mediterranean restaurant needs to have. So I pretty much exchanged $50 worth of grocery with all these older ethnic ladies, Greek, Lebanese, Armenians, Persians, and everybody else in between that they came in. So I exchanged $50 worth of grocery for a recipe. Wow. So a lot of these recipes that I have are original from those days. Then my mom came in a few years later, and she started helping me with some recipes. So everything that you see in our menu is home style and look like a homemade recipes without any tricks, without having any additives or so forth. So, but the restaurant from little grocery store changed to a little cafe. Then we called it Mediterranean Cafe and Market, and then we called it Mediterranean Cafe and Lounge, because then I started the very first hookah lounge in the United States, and so we had to have the lounge word in it.
When was that you brought the hookah aspect in?
That was 1999. Wow. That was 1999. So I immediately bought the domain name hookahlounge.com, and I registered, trademarked the name Hookah Lounge, even though it's generic now, everybody uses, but I do have the pleasure of saying that, hey, here's the registered trademark, and I am the first hookah lounge in the United States. And after that, little by little, people saw our success, and there were other places that they were opening, other Mediterranean cafe and lounge, and people that were getting confused. So we changed the name to Paymon's, and we got it over with. Great. We trademarked that, and thankfully nobody else opened a place under that name.
So where was the original location?
Original location, it was 4147 South Maryland Parkway on the southwest corner of Maryland Parkway and Flamingo on the UNLV corner side.
Would that be the same one when I discovered your restaurant around 2001, that same spot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was it. I had that location for 31 years. And because the neighborhood has changed, and I opened another location to move my staff, because I love my staff, they are my family, so I wanted to keep them. And we moved to another location, which it was on 8955 Southeastern, but we just opened 8 months before the pandemic. And once pandemic hit, nothing, as you know, and everybody else know, nothing was the same, and nothing became the same. So we tried and tried and tried, but it didn't work. So we just closed that location, and we are at the 8380 West Sahara for past 23 years.
What strikes me is, I know that the Maryland Parkway, that area has clearly changed, and it's not necessarily where people want to have businesses. I completely understand that. It is still very close to the college, right? And there was something very nice to me about it being a kind of college hangout and being a kind of a little bit on the edge. But I feel as though your customers have gotten older and more sophisticated. They've probably been eating your food since they were at UNLV, and now we're out here Summerlin adjacent, and they're probably all making a little bit more money, and they're living out here. So do you still see people that have crossed that entire, time span?
Oh, absolutely. The customer base that they used to come to Maryland Parkway, just imagine if you were 30 years old, and then you got married, and then you came with your wife, then you had children, and now those kids, they are 30 years old, right? So I have a pleasure of serving 3 generations now, that as the father and grandfather and the grandchild are coming in. So that is absolutely evolved, because as Las Vegas grew to 2.5 million people, and people that they're coming, they are understanding more Mediterranean food, and they want diversity in the menu. So our menu is a very diverse menu, which offers Italian, Greek, Lebanese, Persian, and Indian. Yes, I know that people they think is a large menu, but we just picked couple of each item from each region, and after 38 years, hopefully we learn our lesson that how much of each meal we make every day that we know is sales. So our menu is very diverse. So you come to Paymon's, if you like Italian and the next person in your party likes Indian, we make both of you guys happy.
What is, and I can think of one in my mind, but you've been here from the beginning. What is the oldest item that's on the menu still today? Which of everything on the menu today, which one has been on the longest?
Oh my God, the Greek salad, I can tell you, Greek salad, Turkish coffee, and baklava, those are the items that I started with. And then I moved on to falafel and hummus and everything else in between. Let me give you a little small, quick story. When I started the one on the location on Maryland Parkway and Flamingo, people at the time, they were not familiar with hummus. So the hummus wasn't as popular as you see today. Today you can buy hummus from any grocery store, and they have many, many different flavors and they're different brands. Those days people didn't know what hummus was. So I used to make a sample of little bites of hummus, go right in the middle of a street with a tray, and when people they are behind the stop light, people that would pull their window down and say, "What do?" I said, "Here's try my food." They said, "Normally people they beg in the middle of the street. You're giving us food." I said, "Well," because those days I was one-man show. So I said, "That's my place. If you like it, please go in there and enjoy." And there were times that I saw people that are making a U-turn. They're going to my restaurant. I ran through the back door, go behind the counter, and say, "Hi, may I help you?" So.
Well,
So
I love that.
changed.
I will tell you that I remember, of course, I had falafel probably the first time I went to your restaurant. I've had falafel many of the times I've been at your restaurant. But I also remember the most exotic dish I had there, say circa 2002, 2003, was the flaming saganaki, right? The cheese on fire. And that seemed at the time like, oh my God, this is so exotic. I know you still make that. It's become a bit more commonplace, I guess, these days. But do people still love it?
Oh, absolutely. Now, as I'm happy that more Greek and Mediterranean restaurants are opening because that helps all of us. I'm an industry man. As a past chairman of Nevada Restaurant Association, I always look at the whole industry rather than our own restaurant. But when other people they are selling saganaki, it makes more people aware about that item. So more people they want to buy it. So it's a very, very good thing that Vegas is growing to the point that we can find saganaki instead of only Paymon's. You can find it in another 4 or 5 places.
Well, man, you are, and you're woven into the fabric of this town. You're woven into the fabric of this community, man. 38 years. I know people just tend to celebrate the ones with the zeros or the fives at the end, but at this point, you should be celebrating every single year, man. 38 is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you so much, Al, that with everything that you do with helping restaurants, especially mom and pop restaurants, independent restaurants. All restaurants are important because we are all in one industry. We don't have a category per se that this is corporate, this is independent. But these days, smaller restaurant, mom and pop restaurants, because they don't have the resources as the big chain or big corporate, they don't have those resources for advertising, for hey, look at me, and getting people coming in. So I ask people from every walk of life if they can, in any type of restaurant that they enjoy, walk in and show your support to them, because today they need you more than ever.
Well, thanks for your time, man.
Thank you so much.
And we've been covering the Liquid Legends Guest Mixologist series at the bank in Bellagio pretty closely because it's a really cool series.
Yeah.
The most recent guest was cocktail historian David Wondrich. And, well, here's my conversation with him. So I'm here with David Wondrich in the beautiful vault at Bellagio, one of the most stunning bars in all of Las Vegas. And he is here for the Liquid Legends series. Sir, it is a pleasure to meet a Liquid Legend.
Well, thank you for that. It's a pleasure to meet you as well. And I'm so happy to be here.
You are, I mean, the preeminent cocktail historian, which makes you very interesting to me because I've met a lot of bartenders who really care very much about cocktail history. And if they are going to study cocktail history, they've clearly read your books and followed your writing in Esquire and all of that. The question I have to start things off is cocktail history was written behind bars. How much of it is legend and how much of it actually happened?
Well, yeah, it's history written by people who were hanging out in bars, as you say, and written behind bars, written in front of bars, written the next day when people are searching through their pants and find a scrap of paper with a recipe on it and have no idea how it got there. So, some of it is reliable. Some of it you could see in old newspapers and books. A lot of it is legend, and some of it it's very hard to tell which it is.
Yeah. So did you have to kind of sort through that? I mean, was that the verification process? How was that when putting together I think your first book was Imbibe, right? Which won the Beard Award?
Well, I wrote a couple books before that, but that was my first really serious one on the topic. But I was trained to do that kind of thing because I have a PhD in comparative literature, and I spent a lot of my time studying classical literature for that, like mostly Latin, Roman stuff. And that's all about sorting through myths and legends and unreliable sources and missing pieces and all of that. So I was pretty comfortable in that kind of environment. I knew, how to figure out who was most reliable of these three sources and or at least to have a pretty good guess at that. And I knew that kind of stuff because I'd been studying it for a number of years and trained by people who were very smart, much smarter than me.
You were a cocktail writer at Esquire. And as far as I know, were you the first person to hold that role?
No, they had cocktail writers going back to the 1930s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had people like Lawton McCall, what a great name for that, and all these guys who were really pioneers and were there when the drinks were being invented and stuff like that. One of them was a member of the Algonquin Round Table. Wow. So they had a tradition right from the beginning of the magazine. It had slipped a little bit, but William Grimes, the guy who wrote the first modern cocktail history book, had that job for a while before he went to the New York Times to be their restaurant reviewer. So it had that job, but I lucked into it, and like I always say, I feel like I started at the top and I've been working my way down ever since. That was the best job I ever had.
Yeah, well, you just said comparative literature. You were just talking to me about your days in a punk rock band. Mm-hmm. How did you get the gig with Esquire?
I was writing about music, mostly about old jazz. I'd gotten burnt out on rock and pop music in general. And I was writing about that for the Village Voice and the New York Times. And a friend of mine knew that I could write because he'd seen that stuff. And he knew that I liked cocktails, not, in any professional way. I liked to mix the occasional cocktail at home, and I had 2 or 3 cocktail books, like old ones. And he called me up and he says, I've got a gig. He was the director of new media for Hearst Publications. Hearst owned Esquire. They had a website for Esquire, and they wanted to put one of their old cocktail books up, and they needed somebody to edit it. And I immediately told him no. I was a junior professor at the time. I didn't have time for that. But he said, this pays $3,000. And I said, oh, wait a minute. Right. By no, I mean yes, immediately. Where do I start?
Yeah.
And that was just a tiny little crack in the door, and I shoved my foot in it and made sure that crack didn't shut and slowly widened it. And then next thing I knew, I was the contributing editor at Esquire for drinks, and I was doing all kinds of other stuff. So.
That is a familiar story for me. I started off as a music writer, then I fell into it, eventually fell into food writing. I think all the dream jobs in life you kind of just fall into.
I hope so. If it's a dream job, if it's your dream job, it means to some degree you invented that job. Right. You built it around you,
Yeah.
and so those you got to fall into. Your guidance counselor doesn't have custom jobs for you. You could do this, you could do that. That's stuff that other people have done. If you can, build your own job, I think you're happier.
So let's talk about the history of cocktails. Is it fair to say that cocktails, as we consider them today, were an American invention?
Absolutely. But like all American inventions, they were based on things from elsewhere. The actual definition, the early definition of the cocktail was spirits of any kind with sugar, water, and bitters. Now that combination goes back to England, but it wasn't like a big deal over there. It was something you would have if you were hungover or something, but it wasn't a part of the culture. You know, it was just another drink. In America, we made that like part of our daily ritual. In the early 19th century, people drank cocktails in the morning.
Yeah.
It was a breakfast drink.
Well, I think you had to in order to live through what was going on.
Oh yeah. And then then it kind of grew up, and ice came to it fairly late, like in the 1840s. The drink had been around in America and named cocktail for 50 years by that point. But it gets iced, and the bartenders got more sophisticated and learned some basic rules of mixology. They figured them out, and next thing you know, they were turning out just these absolutely delightful little iced potions. You know, a little dewdrop in a little goblet that you would just sip, and suddenly life was better.
So before we invented the cocktail, how were people who just couldn't handle 90 proof spirit getting drunk?
Well, they were drinking mint juleps for one thing, which is why I'm here at the vault, to mix a bunch of mint juleps.
Yeah. And you've got a giant mallet that looks like your Thor, I should tell people.
To make a proper mint julep in the classic manner, you need to smash the ice as fine as you can possibly smash it, so you can pack the glass. You don't want pebbles of ice. You want like snow ice in there. Wow. And to do that, you need some mallets.
So they were drinking mint julep. My friends have told me that falls in the category of punches. Am I correct in that, or is it a little different?
It's a little different. A punch is booze with sugar, water, and citrus. Citrus was hard to get year-round in America, especially in the hinterland. And in Virginia, in the 1770s, even before 1760s, they figured out you could put mint in instead of the citrus, and that worked pretty well too. Okay. And so that's what they did. And mint grew there locally and started in April early, and made it into October. So they had a long growing season.
I have been in Las Vegas writing about food in one form or another since around 2001. When I first started writing about cocktails, we all spoke about the kind of craft cocktail renaissance that happened right here in Bellagio, where we are, thanks to Tony Abou-Ghanem coming and starting that program. I remember maybe around, 2006, 2007, if I'm getting my years right, but when Herbs and Rye opened up in the downtown cocktail room, I again heard Las Vegas is going through a craft cocktail renaissance. And now, even though I don't drink and go out to bars as much as I used to, I feel like Vegas is going through another. So the reason I'm asking this is, has there been a craft cocktail renaissance, or are we on a cycle that we just keep going back and rediscovering?
Well, there have been almost 3 craft cocktail renaissances. There was the early one in the early 2000s that was based on tradition and history, and the bartenders were running around with arm garters and all that kind of stuff. But that brought back a lot of old products that we had that had gone away. It brought back old drinks and recipes, techniques, bartending tradition, all that kind of stuff. Then there was a new guard that came in around the 2010s who were like, well, okay, that's all good, but we're here and we're new and we want to do something different. So then they started inventing weirder and weirder cocktails. And now we're at the tail end of that, because people are starting to get sick of that, and it's starting to be a little uneconomical once you're using $120 bottles of chartreuse and splashing it around like it was ditch water. That's a problem. So now I think we're starting to see kind of a little bit of a hybrid. They're going back. The younger bartenders and some of the more happening ones are starting to say, well, we need to roll back some of the weirdness and bring the customer back to the focus instead of my artistry as a bartender. And we're starting to see that. So I'd say that's wave number 3. So and they're all a little bit different, and they build on each other and react to each other, but it's not all one thing.
When I see the dips and the valleys and the peaks here in Las Vegas of trends, I notice that every once in a while, after they get very into craft, suddenly everybody's very excited about their pre-batched cocktails because it speeds up the behind the bar. It gets everything happening. How do you feel about people who pre-batch cocktails?
I'm not a huge fan because I like to see the bartender make something for me. You know, I think it's bad for bartending skills. Also, I've seen pre-batch bars that heavily feature pre-batch cocktails, and if you want to get something that's not pre-batched, the bartenders are really struggling because they just haven't been trained. They've been trained to pour things out of a spigot. And I think that's doing them a disservice and doing the customers a disservice. I mean, I can understand for massive volume, but you need to still keep some of the skill if you want to keep something sustainable, I think.
When I look at young people coming up who really want to be mixologists, who want to be bartenders, who want to expand it and do it as a career, I think when I was younger, you thought if you were doing it as a career, you're doing it in an old man bar when you became an old man. But now I see people who get sponsorship deals from liquor companies and they get to be beverage directors at great casinos like this and things like that. So has this become more of a career, more of a sustainable, long-time, lifetime endeavor?
Well, you know, it always was for some people. But now it is for it's the same as like chef. Chef used to be just a working class job, and bartender the same. But both of those are jobs for smart people. So they always you can't do those jobs well if you're not smart. You've got to really think on your feet. You've got to be very quick. You've got to have a good memory. All kinds of stuff. But now you're seeing people are recognizing that, you know, if I've got a college degree, my options are to go into computer programming that bores me to death, or I can use it and, you know, bartend for a while and then be a beverage director and work my way up, and brand ambassador. There are all kinds of jobs, and I can build a career where I'm not stuck in a cubicle. And so I think you're getting a lot of refugees from corporate America have discovered that, you know, I don't really want to be in corporate America. I want to do something where I have skills, you know, and people can see me using my skills.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're in Las Vegas, but I'm gonna give Las Vegas a pass for this question.
Okay.
Where should I go if I want to catch the next wave of kind of cutting edge cocktail culture?
Parts of Asia, I would say to a degree, but so many of their bars are heavily sponsored and subsidized, so it's not as much a grassroots thing. But Mexico City has a lot going on. Barcelona's got a lot going on. Parts of New York, if you go out into like Bushwick in Brooklyn, there's all kinds of interesting stuff and lots of new bars and people really putting their own stamp on it. Montreal's got a great cocktail scene, a really interesting one. That's a little bit, you know, it's kind of French influenced, which is nice. And so there are definitely a lot of places. Tokyo, you'll learn things in Tokyo.
Okay. Along those lines, I've seen spirits come into fashion, and suddenly everybody's making a mezcal cocktail for a certain number of years. Everybody's making something, you know, then Japanese whiskey. 20 years ago, we were all making Japanese whiskey cocktails. What's the next spirit trend that you see coming?
Well, you know, if I could predict that kind of thing, I'd be retired and in Cozumel.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I see things that people are trying to make happen. Shochu from Japan, which is interesting because it's low proof but distilled and comes in a lot of different flavors, and so that's kind of cool. Non-agave spirits from Mexico, Mexican rum. Mexico's been making rum for 500 years, and they used to make a lot more rum than they did agave spirits. Right. So things like that, I would definitely pay attention to.
I feel like rum just needs to be treated with more respect in America right now.
Yeah, I would say rum's going to be the next big thing, but people have been saying that for 30 years, and it just fails. So, but it does need to be treated with more respect. And you're starting to see better rum coming out, like much more richer flavored and more traditional, less kind of corporate and less consultanted and more coming from distillation and
Right.
traditions. So that's a very good thing.
When you come to Las Vegas, where do you like to sit for a cocktail, either on or off the strip?
Well, I like to go to the Petrosian bar here that my friend Tony set up so many years ago and did such a good job with. I'm excited about the Vault and, of course, the Double Down.
Yeah, all right. So ass juice, right? Have you cracked the formula for ass juice yet?
I'm not even going to try.
Well, on that note, man, now that we've got our punk rock reference in, I'm going to thank you for your time, man. And welcome to Las Vegas again.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Coming up, a happy hour report and the news. This is Food and Loathing. We're back. The Lounge Lizard music is playing, and Andrew Morgan joining us remotely for this remote-a-thon that we're doing today to talk about booze and happy hour specifically. Andrew, how are you, my friend? Andrew Morgan of Happy Hour Vegas, everybody.
Doing well. Even though we're remote, I feel like I'm right next to you guys.
Yeah, you're in our hearts, I believe, and you're going to be more in everybody's hearts when you tell us where we can get cheap booze and cheap food.
That's right.
And I shouldn't say cheap; I should say affordable booze and affordable food, because you only go to high quality joints, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I like a good dive bar now and then, but I call it accessible because the whole idea is getting people to try new restaurants, new places, new flavors. And, happy hour makes it happen. So, but yes, I've got a few good ones today. Love to share with you.
Okay, well, let's kick it off. Do we have a theme today, or are we just going to go randomly scattershot about the valley looking for places to booze up?
Total shotgun.
Okay, let's do it, man.
Yeah,
So let's start. Number one, what do you got?
Well, so do you know a guy named Jose Andres?
I do, in fact, know a guy. I was just reading some sad posts of his online. But yes, I do know a guy named Jose Andres.
Yes.
And he tends to make good food.
He's pretty good in the kitchen, I hear. So anyways, he's got a fancy little place in Caesar's Forum Shops called Zatania, which is a Mediterranean, Greek, Lebanese type of cuisine. And I'll tell you what, it's out of this freaking world good. No surprise, because it's Jose Andres, right?
Yeah, it's a great restaurant. It's a spin that, not a lot of people taking that Mediterranean kind of spin these days, but he runs with it. He does it well. And I love that you're about to talk about maybe a happy hour, because I'll say this about Zaytinya in the Forum Shops. That bar in their lounge area is one of the very few bars in this town that if you put a picture up of somebody sitting in front of the bar, it's immediately identifiable as the Zaytinya bar.
Yeah, it's pretty cute in there. Like the turquoise little dome thing going on there.
Yeah. Very cool bar.
And you know what else is memorable? The harissa honey wings for $15.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell you what, that to me was my go-to. Of course, there was the Zaytar margarita to wash it down, which wasn't very refreshing, but it was damn good. So, if you're going to go to Zatania for happy hour, that's my recommended order. But they have other things too. Wines by the glass for like $12. They have select caviar for $4 with Jose's potato chips and Labnat Puma.
$4, you're getting caviar and potato chips?
40.
40. Okay, because I was like, Jesus Christ. I don't know. They're goldfish eggs you're using $4.
That's a loss.
$40. Okay, gotcha, man.
Yeah, but like sautéed shrimp, bunch of specialty cocktails. So a really good, well-rounded happy hour menu that reflects the cuisine and obviously Jose Andres his specialty.
What days, what hours, man?
Yeah, we are looking at it's every day actually, so it's pretty good. Let me pull that 5 to 6 p.m. every day, including weekends. And then again at 8 to 9 p.m. every day. On the weekends, it's 9 to 10 p.m. on that for the happy hour. So it's 7 days a week. Caesar's Forum Shops, lots of parking there. Obviously walkable, lots of other places around there. So anyways, great vibe. Totally recommend it.
Okay, Zaytinya. Yeah, and by the way, you park at the Forum Shops. It's right there on that ground floor where you walk in. So very, very accessible if you use that front Forum Shop valet. What's next?
Total, I would say opposite side of the valley, but let's go to Chinatown. And
Well, there's no side of the valley for the Forum shops. They're kind of smack dab in the middle, ain't they?
you're right. It's kind of like right there. But
And it's not that far from Chinatown. I mean, I'm sorry to be Mr. Geography here, but
geez, am I back at school or what?
so just around the corner at Chinatown, what do you have, Andrew?
Exactly. In Chinatown, we don't have any Chinese happy hours, but we do have 00 Pie and Pub. And that's one of my favorite. That's just absolutely amazing. So
Yeah, we were there last week. We talked a
exactly.
little bit about that. Tell people about some of their happy hour deals.
So it's a pretty, it's like I always say, it's a basic happy hour because it's pizza and beer and and wine, but there's nothing basic about the pizza, as we know, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the gold standard right then and there. But they have on happy hour drink like beer and wine's $5. They also have the go-to $12. You get 2 slices of pizza and a draft beer. And as you know, the vibe is cool. Nice little pubby kind of feel to it. Lots of parking.
What time is that?
It is every day. Again, Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m. every day. And again, 9 to 10 p.m. as well. So 7 days a
And the
week.
beautiful thing there is, 5 p.m. rolls around and then you're still over in that Chinatown Plaza, right? So then you could go to Golden Tiki if you want. You go get some sweets at Monier. You go around the corner. There's all sorts of places you can go. The taco joint, Partage. So yes, man. And I'm willing to bet we should try to figure out if there's a way you can happy hour jump in that plaza one of these days. Go from one to the other.
That's a mission that we can all get behind. Let's try that one.
Okay, cool. Okay, so for today, you got one more. Hit me, man. What do you got?
You know what? Kind of thinking about where was I on the other side of the valley? Latai. Downtown version.
Yeah, down on Fremont.
Yeah. So
Fremont East.
Yeah.
The original Fremont East restaurant, man. The first really solid restaurant to open on Fremont East.
Exactly. So Chef Dan Coughlin, he is not only original in the kitchen, he's original in his thinking of where his location's going to be, Fremont East. And he started that trend, like I said. Others are followed. And, he's living the dream right now there. It's awesome.
And Dan likes a good stiff drink. So what are they serving up for happy hour?
So I like the little Thai basil kind of margarita that they have going on there. It's one of those things where it's so good, it's scary because I'll just have another one. Oh, I think I'll have another one. And it's like $10 or something like that. So it's like, why not? Right.
All right.
Especially
and if you spend all your money there, you still got penny slots nearby because you're on Fremont Street.
You're on Fremont, exactly. But the waterfall beef, $12. To me, actually on the wings are pretty damn good too. But like
wings are really good there.
Yeah, they're those again, great menu, great vibe. It's got a little 800 square foot patio outdoor that they have a DJ going on there like that. So it's truly original in terms of its menu, its location, and its vibe. So it's pretty good. Don't forget, Saturdays 11 to like midnight is pretty much an all day happy hour there too. So.
You saying 11 a.m. till midnight?
11 a.m. happy hour on Saturday. Let's do it.
Well, that's a happy day. So we're going to leave it at that. Andrew, thanks a lot. You've got about 500 happy hours listed over at happyhourvegas.com. You have them by category, by location, by everything. So people can go there and they can sign up for your newsletter. Where, man?
happyhourvegas.com. The little newsletter box is right there. I suggest you sign up. You'll get it in your inbox every week and take it from there.
Okay. Thanks for your time. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, damn, and there goes those clickety-clackety teletypes saying it's news time. Rich is the guy that always plays that sound effect. So, Rich, why don't you start the news for us today?
Thank you, Slappy. Happy to be here. Petite Boheme has announced a new late-night food menu created by chef-owner James Trees and corporate executive chef Sean O'Hara. It's available from 5 p.m. through 1 a.m. nightly. The offerings include poutine carbonade, flamadama. What did I do there? You're going to have to help me, Al. How do you pronounce that?
Carbonade flamande.
Flamande.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
All right. This one I got. Cornichon frites. Yes. Fried little Cornichon pickles. I'd try that. Mm-hmm. The Bohème burger. French onion grilled cheese. Trout dip. Chicken cordon bleu. Oysters. And the already popular jamon boyer sandwiches. Lounge is also offering a reverse happy hour, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. nightly. That is Petite Boheme.
And
Can I just say something?
Every cool neighborhood needs a good late night menu somewhere, and that's the
but
shit.
Why is it reverse happy hour? Why can't it just be another happy hour at a different time?
Because
The
happy hour
reverse thing just makes
hour
it sound like I have to pay double for half instead of half for a deal.
Does, yeah.
I get that, but traditionally a happy hour is how you start off your evening. It's before your meal.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe I am starting my evening at 11
well,
p.m.
it's not after
A
your
lot
meal.
of people in Vegas
No,
starting at
you're
11
not,
p.m.
Well, then you're not sticking around and having a meal there because it's their last hour of service.
Yeah, there's the service. But then, of course,
Yeah.
there's still a few 24-hour joints left in Vegas. It is the city that sort of almost never sleeps. It passes
Wait a
out,
second,
but it
wait a
doesn't sleep.
second. Name me, just because I'm old and I don't do this, name me a 24-hour joint in the Arts District.
With the arts district.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
there,
okay.
yeah.
Well, that's what we're talking about, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move on, more news.
All right. I feel shame. I go to the box. The Irish Spot, which operates on the East Tropicana space once home to Crown and Anchor, is tripling down on fish and chips. It has the classic version, and the kitchen's now introduced an oversized family version called the Waterford Whale. And there's also the off-the-menu all-you-can-eat fish Fridays. The Waterford features 2 pounds of fish, chips, mushy peas, and tartar sauce. The Friday deal, only if you know, will let you consume fish and chips to your heart's desire for $30. Wow. Once I get off the GLP-1s, I will be there.
All right.
There you go.
Because right now, I'd consume about 20 cents worth of fish. If you've ever wanted to try your hand at competitive eating, PT's, again, hosts the ultimate wing down wing eating championship Saturday, September 12th. This is at 2430 East Pebble Road. That's at Eastern near the 215. You can register on the day. It starts at 2:30 p.m. It's $10. It's a multi-round competition. Gets underway at 4. Whoever consumes the most medium buffalo wings goes home with $2,500. Second prize $1,000. Third prize $500.
I got to say, I'm intrigued by the fact that they're serving medium buffalo wings this year because I was at one of their events. They were serving scorpion wings.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
I was judging people to make sure they kept it down, and they were fucking vomiting, and it was the greatest judging thing of my life. Anyway, more news.
Oh my God. More news. Hey, Aloha Friday will return to Durango Resort's poolside Bel Air backyard on Saturday, September 5th. The luau will feature a whole pig roast, Hawaii street food by Chef Gene Villatora, a reggae band, DJ, and traditional fire show. Looking ahead to October, Legacy Club will debut Autumn Tea on the Terrace, Saturday afternoon, October 17th, from 1 to 4 p.m. Guests at Cirque's Rooftop Lounge will enjoy a selection of tea blends, bottomless champagne, and select cocktails, gourmet fall bites, and an exclusive signature teacup and saucer to take home. Tickets are $100. And yes, the Michelin Guide is going to hand out some stars on Wednesday. We will be there, and that means next week's podcast will include what we learn. It also means there's a chance the podcast may drop a few hours later than normal. But then again, maybe not.
That's all up to Rich. It's just whether Rich.
It also depends on.
It will drop at exactly the same time.
Well, I know. Well, all I can vouch for is that I will not be doing my portion on time. But if Rich can make that work, then he is a genius.
Absolutely.
Oh, you mean you're not going to have your stuff in till 3 o'clock Friday morning? Because I got to go to work. Yeah. All right. So that's it for this week. That's all the damage we can do. Hopefully we have made you hungry. If not, check out some of our other offerings. That would be the Food and Loathing News at foodandloathing.vegas. Find Bob Barnes talking about events at Bistecca Italian Steakhouse and Buckman's Grill. Pick of the week is Mikasa Grill Cantina, and he has news on Double Zero Pie and Pub's lunch specials. Rocky's 10th location, 80-cent burgers at Irv's, serious bargains at Norm's, and we have Las Vegas chefs sharing their thoughts on the new Anthony Bourdain biopic. Tony finally opens wide this weekend. Al, he's back on TV. It's the CW Las Vegas Foodie Fridays. Al and Andrew live every Friday. Not liver as you wrote it, although that's sort of a Freudian thing there.
I mean, that's just me and my liver every Friday. Well,
8:30 a.m. Check your local listings.
Requires a second chair, but I don't let them mic him up separately.
And read it all at LasVegasAdvisor.com. And, of course, sign up for our newsletter, the Food and Loathing newsletter. Every Thursday, it'll hit your inbox keeps you up to date on what's what. Happy Hour Vegas, its own newsletter that Andrew has talked about. That's on Wednesdays. Sign up for both on the respective websites. Anything else from the floor?
No, thanks for not
Gentlemen
pointing out
from
that
New
I
York,
misspelled
the-
mushy peas, though. That was nice of you.
Muchy peas. Yeah, I saw that and I made a game time decision not to say muchy peas. But I can humiliate you at the end. It's so worth it. All
Take
right,
us
that's
out of
it
here,
for-
Rich.
For our guests, Paymon Raouf and David Wondrich, I'm Rich Johnson. That's Gemini Stevens. Al Mancini's over there relaxing on his couch. Thank you for listening, and you stay hungry.